Welcome back. Now, 6 men charged with the murder of whistleblower Babita Deokaran will return to court tomorrow. The Gauteng Health Department official was assassinated in August 2021 after exposing corruption to the tune of R1 billion in contracts at Thembisa Hospital. Outa will be staging a protest outside the court in support of the murdered whistleblower rather. Gule is with Outa and he joins me now in studio, as well as joining the conversation is Bishop Tony Haripersadh, who is the spokesperson for the Deokaran family. Thank you both so much for your time and for speaking to us about this very important topic. Bishop, I'm going to start with you. It's been a really difficult 2 years, I can imagine, for the Deokaran family. I want to ask you how you are all doing and coping, given this court case that's just lingering and hanging over your heads.
Good evening, Heidi, to you and the viewers as well, and to Ali, good evening. Heidi, yes, the family is coping as best as we can because we are a very strong-knit family, very close-knit family, but the pain and the heartache lives on. That is something that is just like the way we felt on the day she was taken away from us. We have to deal with this on a daily basis.
I want to speak about how we are currently in July of 2023. The unfortunate incident happened in August of 2021. It's almost 2 years later, and there hasn't been much movement. I'm sure this has caused much frustration for you.
Oh, yes, it has caused a lot of frustration for the family, because every time there is a date set and these men appear in court, the family gets very anxious, and we are concerned about justice. But we know, however slow the wheels of justice are turning, we are hopeful. We are hopeful that justice will prevail and the perpetrators will be brought to book.
Ali, let me bring you into this conversation. You, as Outa, you have been very supportive of the Deokaran family. You've been by their side, constantly protesting and showing your dissatisfaction to how long this case has taken, but also the disregard to the important whistleblower that Babita was.
Good evening, and good evening to Tony. Look, we are hoping and praying this will not be another Senzo Meyiwa case. And already tomorrow there are indications, we're not sure if the case is going on or not, but whether the case is going on or not tomorrow, we still continue with our protest tomorrow. We're using Babita's case as a symbol to fight for the promotion and protection of all whistleblowers. Remember, Babita was not the only whistleblower who has been murdered. We have got few that disappeared. We don't know what happened to them. Even some have lost their earnings, they've lost income, they've lost job. Those that resisted all the troubles have been persecuted until they resign. But our hearts are with the family. It's just a pity that even though Pastor Tony has not mentioned it, I heard the brother of Babita last weekend saying they've not received the support that they expected from the Department of Health. It's a pity. I don't know why it's that, but we are also fighting not only for the promotion and the protection of whistleblowers, we're fighting for justice for Babita. We often take our eyes off from the two officials. One of them is the former CEO of the hospital and the CFO of the Department of Health. Babita saw something coming. She was afraid of her life, according to the investigation of News 24, and she elevated the story to the CFO. It's now in the public domain that nothing happened. We want those two officials to be investigated, their role. What was their role in the whole saga? So while we're exacting more pressure for justice for Babita, we are also exacting pressure to the government to to protect other whistleblowers as well.
Certainly. Bishop, Ali just spoke about something that's very concerning. And I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, when it was a year of the tragic incidents of what happened to Babita, there was an indication that they haven't, you as a family, you haven't really received thorough communication in terms of investigations and what the Gauteng government is actually doing to get to the bottom of this. The tragedy in all of this is that it's not going to bring Babita back, but surely there should be some kind of communication. There is a new premier in place at the moment, but what has your engagement been like with Gauteng government?
Heidi, I think Ali has just mentioned that we have not received the support that we expected. And Babita leaving behind a 16-year-old daughter who needs a lot of help and attention. We have not received the support from the Gauteng the municipality or the province of Gauteng, should I say, as we have expected. I must just say also that there has been a lot of runaround for the family in terms of filling documentations for the child. And, Babita being a chief director, former chief director, who gave her life for the department, we've expected at least a little more assistance from the Department of Health and other department concerns and officials that are in, places of leadership to kindly assist her daughter at least. In sorting all the paperwork out and, whatever was required for the child.
It's rather shameful, if I must say so myself, given that it's almost 2 years on and not much has happened. I want to ask you, in no way did Babita die in vain, because a lot has come out about the real rot that happened at Thembisa Hospital. And as much as we are being told that investigations are underway and officials have been taken to task in terms of what was really going on there, how does it make you feel to see what's going on? Because you have 6 men that were arrested and are being accused, but we still don't know who the mastermind is behind all of this.
No, definitely it is very, very painful for the family. Very painful for the family to even, think about the fact that the mastermind behind her killing is living his normal life, his or her, Their normal life goes on. But here we have a child who lost her mother at the prime of her teenage years, and now this year she's in matric. She needs the support of her mother, with whom she, lived all her life and was very attached to her. And, it hurts us to know that these significant moments in this child's life, her mother is not with her to help her along.
Ali, I want to ask you about, you made an indication that perhaps tomorrow the case might not go forward. We're not exactly sure what could possibly happen. But this is very frustrating, especially for the Deokaran family, because we do know that previously there were delays because the 6 accused changed their legal team, or they were waiting for legal representation to continue with the case. We're not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. But it's obviously a frustrating situation for everybody involved. It's almost 2 years since she was assassinated, and what have we really seen in court?
Not that only is there only frustration. The act to protect and promote whistleblowers is in place. But without a political will and a conducive environment, many potential whistleblowers, from where I'm seated, I doubt if they will come out. Good statements and sentiments have been expressed at all 3 spheres of government, even from the president. The CJ, Raymond Zondo, also singled out whistleblowers that they need protection. But I don't think the government walk the talk. It's about time we stop producing, for a lack of a better word, good acts. But we need action from the government. But the other thing that it's funny, we have seen the Minister of Police, the President, the Premiers visiting victims of all sorts of crime, which is a good thing. But isn't it funny that not a top official has gone to meet the daughter of Babita or the family. That is a very concerning issue. Babita was a top official, and Babita's story has been in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. But why don't we see someone visiting, at least comforting, or at least giving direction to the family? You heard from Pastor Tony. They are in the dark as much as yourself. Nothing is happening. And you can imagine what is happening to the daughter. She's doing matric. And every time I meet her, I don't know what to say to the kid. At least I think she's doing very well. She's coping under the circumstances. But we want to go deeper into the case. Probably just scratch the surface and see what, like you said, we need to know who's the big fish, who's the paymaster, who hired the hitmen. Hitmen don't hire themselves. And whistleblowers, for that matter, are law-abiding citizens that are fighting corruption. We are facing all kinds of challenges in the country, the load shedding, the crime, the unemployment, the money without sugarcoating that is stolen from the public purse, could be used and directed to essential services. The potholes, housing, building of the streets. We've got so many things that need money. So if people are coming forward for any other wrongdoing, we should be supporting such people. And like I said, we don't see support in the case of Babita, and that means there's no support for other whistleblowers as well. It is a serious concern.
Just one last question to you, and then I'm going to close off with Bishop Tony. We must also give credit to News 24. They have done exceptional work in terms of really getting to the bottom of what Babita was investigating. If you just look at the state of health, not only in the Gauteng province, but in this country, it is shocking. If you hear and see what was happening, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, should government hang their heads in shame, especially in Gauteng, given what is actually playing out? Babita lost her life. Other whistleblowers are probably too scared to even whisper what is going on in these departments because of what's playing out in the country at the moment.
If the incident, the Department of Health, but especially in Gauteng, has been in the news for all the wrong reasons. The dust has not settled of what happened with people as Esidimeni. There are many other. We protested at Rahima Musa Hospital, and the health ombudsman discovered that what the doctor penned out there is even worse. So you can imagine the list is endless in as far as Department of Health is concerned. And it's about time we see heads rolling. Someone will need to crack the whip, maybe across the country in as far as Department of Health is concerned.
Certainly. Bishop Tony, let's end off with you. I want to be blunt and ask you if you, as the Deokaran family, feel betrayed. You know, having covered this story, and I know you've dealt extensively with News 24, they have sat with you as the Deokaran family to really understand what was going on. To hear the intricacies of what Babita was investigating, it's absolutely astonishing that you had government officials that were supposed to be protecting the most vulnerable in our society, allegedly conducting themselves in such a manner. You've lost your loved one. Her daughter has lost her mother. You know, even if we find out who the mastermind is, sadly, we're not going to bring Babita back. But do you feel betrayed as a family? And what are you hoping comes out of tomorrow, given there are indications that the matter might not go to trial?
Heidi, I think more than the family feeling betrayed, you know, we are more hurt and broken. But I think Babita has been betrayed here. Because what she fought for, what she exposed, our hope is that this is not swept under the carpet and, covered up. Because then she would have died in vain. So that's where, our position is. We are fighting for justice for Babita because we feel that she has been betrayed in this entire situation.
What happens come tomorrow if the court indicates that they cannot start with trial as indicated? We were told that 17th of July, the trial will commence. But if that does not happen?
We'll be disappointed, but we're going to have to see what the reason is if that does not happen. And like Ali has mentioned, the Senzo Meua case, that took many, many more years, and still there seems to be a lot of glitches in that trial. So we know that, these things are not easily done or as quick as we as a family may anticipate, but we are hopeful. We are hopeful, and our prayer is that justice must prevail. Justice must prevail. That is our prayer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much for your time, Bishop. We do appreciate it. And we also thank Ali Gule from Outa and Bishop Tony Haripersadh, who's a spokesperson for the Deokaran family, for speaking to us about this very important conversation. It's almost 2 years on, and that matter has hardly proceeded. Trial is expected to commence tomorrow, but we'll just have to wait and see what comes out of court tomorrow.